Maya sat in a cold metal chair in a room with no windows. 5 serious-faced people in military uniforms stared at her from across a long table. Admiral Kimberly Foster sat in the middle, her gray hair pulled back tight, and her eyes narrowed, with doubt. "Let me understand this clearly, Lieutenant Winters," the Admiral said. "You claim a massive alien ship appeared out of nowhere, shut down your systems, and then an alien queen who knew your name came aboard and gave you this object." She pointed to the crystal, which sat in a clear box on the table. "Yes, ma'am," Maya said. "That's exactly what happened." A man in a lab coat adjusted his glasses. "We've run every test we can think of on this crystal. It's like nothing we've ever seen. The molecular structure keeps changing every time we try to analyze it." Admiral Foster frowned. "And this alien queen, this Lyra, she spoke perfect English?" "Yes," Maya said. "She said we had met before, many times across different lifetimes. She talked about a war that's coming and something called the Void Heralds." "That's impossible," Admiral Foster said flatly. Maya leaned forward. She knew things about me that she couldn't possibly know. She knew about the small strawberry birthmark behind my right ear that's covered by my hair. She knew my childhood nickname was Starfish because of the way I slept with my arms and legs spread out. Even my parents don't remember that nickname anymore. The room fell silent. The scientists and military leaders looked at each other with worried expressions. She also knew about the scar on my knee from when I fell off my bike when I was 8. Maya continued. "No one knows about that except my family. It's not in any of my military records." Admiral Foster sighed heavily. "Lieutenant, I want to believe you, but this is so far beyond anything we've ever encountered. We need more proof than just a strange crystal and your word." "I know how it sounds," Maya admitted. "If I were sitting where you are, I'd have trouble believing it too." After 3 more hours of questions, Maya was finally allowed to return to her quarters on the Earth Defense Base. She was ordered not to leave the base or speak to anyone about what had happened. That night, alone in her small room, Maya couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Lyra's strange words and the feeling that somehow deep down she knew the alien queen. Finally, she got up and took the crystal from her pocket, where she had secretly kept a small piece that broke off during the scientists' tests. She held the fragment in her palm, looking at the way it caught the dim light from her bedside lamp. It seemed to pulse slightly, like it had its own heartbeat. Without thinking about why, Maya closed her fingers around the crystal. The world disappeared. Maya found herself standing on a strange battlefield. The ground was covered in ice, but fires burned everywhere. The sky above was black with smoke, and strange ships that moved like angry insects. She looked down and saw she was wearing armor she had never seen before, but somehow knew exactly how each piece worked. A weapon that looked like a mix between a gun and a sword was strapped to her side, and she knew exactly how to use it. Around her fought soldiers. Some looked human, but others were clearly not. Creatures with 4 arms, beings made of what looked like livingstone and things Maya couldn't even describe, fought side by side with humans in a desperate battle. Across the field was a swirling black mass. It wasn't solid, but it wasn't quite a cloud either. It moved like it was alive, reaching out with tendril-like arms that grabbed soldiers and pulled them screaming into its darkness. "The Void Heralds always start this way," said a voice beside. Maya turned to see Lyra standing there, dressed in armor similar to Maya's but more elegant and flowing. The alien queen gestured toward the battlefield with a graceful motion. "We've fought this battle before, Maya. In different forms, on different worlds. The pattern always repeats." "What pattern?" Maya asked. "What are the Void Heralds?" "They are the universe's way of correcting a mistake," Lyra said. "A mistake we keep making over and over." Above them, a massive ship shaped like a crescent moon hovered. Smaller ships flew from its sides like bees from a hive, engaging with the dark, jagged ships of the enemy. "My ship," Lyra said, following Maya's gaze. "The Moonblade. In this timeline, we've managed to build a fleet large enough to challenge the Heralds directly. That's rare. Usually we're caught unprepared." "This timeline?" Maya asked. "What do you mean?" Lyra turned to face her fully. "Time isn't a straight line, Maya. It's more like a spiral, circling back on itself, but always at a different point. We've lived this war many times, you and I, sometimes as allies, sometimes as enemies, but always we stand at its center. Before Maya could ask more questions, the world around her began to fade like mist in the morning sun. She felt herself falling. Maya woke with a gasp on the floor of her quarters. The crystal fragment was still clutched in her hand, now glowing with a soft blue light. She scrambled to her feet and nearly screamed. All across the walls of her room were equations and strange symbols. They covered every inch of space, written in what looked like her own handwriting. But the symbols were like nothing she had ever seen. Complex mathematical formulas and diagrams that somehow made perfect sense to her, though she knew she had never studied such things. In the center of the main wall was a perfect star map, with one spot marked with a glowing symbol. Maya knew, without understanding how she knew, that these were coordinates, exact coordinates for where Lyra would appear next. She quickly grabbed her tablet and began copying down everything on the walls. She didn't know what all of it meant, but she knew it was important. As the sun rose, the writing on the walls slowly faded until it was gone completely, leaving the walls blank as if nothing had been there at all. Maya stared at her tablet, now full of information she shouldn't understand but somehow did. The equations described concepts about space and time that human science had barely begun to consider. The diagrams showed technologies beyond anything humans had built, and the coordinates, they pointed to a location on Phobos, the small moon of Mars, a location that, according to her Earth Defense Force maps, contained nothing but an abandoned mining facility. Maya knew what she had to do. She had to get to those coordinates. But how? She was confined to the base, her ship was impounded, and if she told anyone about the writing on her walls or the visions from the crystal, they would think she was crazy. Just then, her tablet pinged with a message. It was from Admiral Foster. Lieutenant Winters, report to my office immediately. We've detected unusual energy signatures on Phobos. You're being assigned to an investigation team due to your recent experience. Maya stared at the message in shock. How could they have detected something at those exact coordinates? Unless she remembered what Lyra had said about patterns repeating. Maybe this was part of the pattern too. Maybe in some way the universe was pushing them toward their next meeting. Maya quickly got dressed in her uniform and headed for the Admiral's office. Whatever was happening, whatever this pattern was that Lyra had spoken of, Maya was now part of it. And somehow she knew that the fate of Earth, maybe the fate of much more, depended on what would happen next. She touched the small crystal fragment in her pocket. It felt warm against her fingers, almost like it was trying to tell her something. Maya took a deep breath and walked faster. She had a feeling things were about to get much more complicated. The small shuttle shook as it entered the thin atmosphere around Phobos. Maya sat strapped in next to Dr. Olivia Martinez, a quantum physicist with thick glasses and nervous hands, and Samantha Kelly, a language expert who specialized in creating communication systems with potential alien life forms. Neither woman spoke much during the 3-day journey from Earth. We're approaching the coordinates, the pilot called back to them. But I'm not seeing the abandoned mining facility that's supposed to be there. Maya looked out the small window. The surface of Phobos was gray and covered with craters looking much like Earth's moon. As they got closer to the landing area, she could see a small structure that looked like a standard mining operation entrance. Nothing special, nothing that would explain the strange energy readings they had been sent to investigate. That's it? Dr. Martinez asked, sounding disappointed. That's what your alien queen wanted you to find? Maya didn't answer. She felt the crystal fragment in her pocket grow warmer. Something was here. Something important. She just couldn't see it yet. The shuttle landed with a soft bump. The 3 women put on their spacesuits and stepped out onto the surface of Phobos. Gravity was very light here, so they had to be careful not to jump too high with each step. The energy readings are coming from inside the mine, Samantha said, checking her scanner. But the entrance looked sealed. They walked to the metal doors of the mining facility. A faded sign read, Mars Mining Corporation, Phobos Outpost Alpha, abandoned 2067. Maya placed her hand on the door. The crystal in her pocket grew so hot, She could feel it through her suit. Suddenly, a keypad appeared on the wall next to the door, a keypad that hadn't been there a moment before. "Did you see that?" Maya asked. The other women nodded, their eyes wide with surprise. Without thinking, Maya reached out and entered a code into the keypad. Her fingers moved on their own, as if they remembered a pattern her mind did not. The doors slid open with a hiss. "How did you know that code?" Samantha asked, her voice filled with suspicion. "I don't know," Maya admitted. "It just came to me." They stepped inside. The lights came on automatically as they entered, revealing not an abandoned mine, but a clean modern facility with advanced technology lining the walls. "This doesn't look abandoned to me," Dr. Martinez whispered. As they walked further in, the tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber. What they saw there made them all stop in shock. Ships, dozens of warships unlike anything in Earth's fleet. They were sleek and deadly-looking, with weapon systems that Maya somehow recognized, though she had never seen their like before. "What is this place?" Samantha asked, her voice barely audible through the comm system. Before anyone could answer, a door at the far end of the chamber opened, and a group of people in military uniforms walked toward them. At the front was a woman with short gray hair and cold eyes. "Lieutenant Winters," the woman said. "Right on schedule, I'm General Tanya Pierce. Welcome to Project Harbinger." "You were expecting us?" Maya asked, confused. "We've been expecting you," General Pierce said with a slight smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Though I'm curious how you found this place when it doesn't officially exist." Maya thought about the crystal, the vision, the coordinates that had appeared on her wall, but something told her not to share those details just yet. "Admiral Foster sent us to investigate energy readings," she said instead. "Yes, the energy readings we deliberately sent out," the general replied. "A fishing line, if you will. And you took the bait." The general led them deeper into the facility, past more ships and rooms full of technology that looked far more advanced than anything Maya had seen before. "What is all this?" Dr. Martinez asked, unable to contain her scientific curiosity. 53 years ago, something crashed in the Arizona desert, General Pierce explained. It wasn't a meteor or a satellite, as the public was told. It was a ship, a small scout vessel with technology beyond anything we had developed. The pilot was dead, but the ship was mostly intact. They entered a large room with a holographic display showing the solar system. Small red dots were moving through space, near Jupiter. "We've been reverse engineering that technology ever since," the general continued. "Building our own versions, creating weapons and defenses, all in preparation for the day the others would come." "Others?" Samantha asked. Before the general could answer, alarms began to blare throughout the facility. The holographic display zoomed in on Jupiter, where a strange disturbance was forming in space. It looked like a tear, a wound in reality itself. From this tear emerged ships, jagged black vessels that moved like predators seeking prey. "The Void Heralds," Maya whispered, the name coming to her lips without her knowing how she knew it. General Pierce's head snapped around to stare at Maya. "How do you know that name?" Before Maya could answer, one of the technicians monitoring the display called out, "General, the Heralds are attacking the research stations on Jupiter's moons. Callisto Station is already gone. Europa Base is under heavy fire." The display showed the destruction in real time. The black ships fired weapons that seemed to eat away at matter itself, dissolving the human outposts into nothing. "How many people are stationed out there?" Samantha asked, her face pale. 3,000, General Pierce said grimly. "Get me Earth Command," she ordered one of her officers, as they watched. In horror, another alarm sounded. A second tier in space had opened near Saturn, and more Herald ships poured through. "They're cutting us off," the general said. "Standard tactics: isolate and destroy." Maya felt a strange buzzing in her head. Images flashed through her mind: battles in space, planets burning, civilizations falling, and always, the Void Heralds moving from world to world, consuming everything in their path. Then, as if responding to her thoughts, a new ship appeared on the display. Unlike the jagged black vessels of the Heralds, This one was shaped like a crescent moon glowing with blue light. "Lyra?" Maya said softly. The crescent ship moved with impossible grace, engaging the herald vessels in a dance of destruction. Weapons fire flew between them, lighting up the space around Jupiter with flashes of energy. "What is that ship?" General Pierce demanded. "It's not one of ours." "It's the Moonblade," Maya said, the name coming from her memories of the vision. "It belongs to the Astari, to Queen Lyra." All eyes turned to Maya. "Lieutenant Winters," General Pierce said slowly, "I think it's time you told us exactly who this Lyra is and how you know so much about an enemy we've been preparing to face for half a century." Maya looked at the display, at the lone crescent ship fighting against a swarm of herald vessels. Somehow she knew that what she said next would change everything. Earth was now at war with the Void Heralds, and Lyra had come, just as she had promised. "I need to speak with Admiral Foster," Maya said. "And I need a ship. If Lyra is here, she came for a reason. She's been trying to warn us, to prepare us." "Warn us about what?" Dr. Martinez asked. Maya looked at each of their faces before answering. "About a war that has been fought countless times before. A war for the survival of all life as we know it." General Pierce studied Maya's face for a long moment, then nodded to one of her officers. "Prepare a ship for Lieutenant Winters, and get Admiral Foster on a secure channel." As the others moved to carry out her orders, the general stepped closer to Maya and spoke in a low voice. 53 years I've been preparing for this day, spending trillions in secret, building weapons and ships, training soldiers for a war I could never fully explain. And now you walk in here with all the answers." "Not all of them," Maya admitted. "But I think I know where to find the rest." She touched the crystal in her pocket, which had gone cool again. Whatever was happening, whatever role she was meant to play in this cosmic war, Maya knew one thing for certain. She needed to find Lyra. On the display, the crescent ship destroyed 3 more herald vessels before jumping away in a flash of light. Maya knew somehow where it would reappear. The knowledge was there in her mind, placed like a seed that had suddenly sprouted. "I know where she's going," Maya said, "and we need to be there when she arrives." Without waiting for permission, Maya moved toward the door. To her surprise, General Pierce didn't try to stop her. "Lieutenant," the general called after her, "whatever happens next, remember one thing. Earth comes first." Maya looked back at the stern-faced woman and nodded. But in her heart, she wasn't sure if this war was just about Earth anymore. The visions from the crystal showed her a bigger picture, a cosmic game being played across time and space, and somehow, she and Lyra were key pieces on that board. As Maya headed toward the ship bay, she felt the weight of countless lives resting on her shoulders. Not just human lives, but all the beings fighting against the Void Heralds. Whatever connection she shared with Lyra, whatever destiny awaited them both, it was time to face it head-on. The small submarine moved slowly through the dark waters. 7 miles beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, the pressure was enough to crush most vessels like empty soda cans. But this submarine, built with technology from both Earth and the Astari, moved forward steadily. Inside, Maya checked the navigation system one more time. Next to her, Dr. Martinez monitored the strange energy readings coming from somewhere ahead of them. "We're getting close," Dr. Martinez said. "The readings are getting stronger." Through the thick front window, their lights showed nothing but black water and the occasional deep-sea creature that quickly swam away from the strange intruder in their dark world. "Are you sure about this?" Dr. Martinez asked quietly. "The calculations show that destroying the nexus point could have unpredictable effects." Maya nodded. "I'm sure. The visions from the crystal have shown me what happens if we don't destroy it. The cycle continues. More worlds die. More civilizations fall to the heralds. Above them, the battle had already begun. Herald ships had appeared in Earth's orbit, more than ever before. The combined fleets of Earth and the Astari fought
desperately to keep them away from the planet.
Lyra's flagship, the Moonblade, led the defense, engaging the massive Herald mothership in a direct battle. Maya could feel Lyra's presence even this far beneath the ocean. Their connection had grown stronger over the past weeks, allowing them to sense each other across vast distances. Right now, Maya could feel Lyra's determination and fear as the space battle raged on. There! Dr. Martinez suddenly pointed ahead. A faint blue glow appeared in the darkness. As they got closer, the glow resolved into a structure unlike anything Maya had ever seen, or had she? In her visions, she had glimpsed this place many times. A temple of sorts, built from a material that looked like black glass, covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change as she looked at them. "It's ancient Astari," came Samantha Kelly's voice from behind them. The language expert had been studying the symbols appearing on their screens, mixed with something else, something older. The submarine came to a stop before a massive doorway in the side of the structure. Despite being underwater for what must have been millions of years, the building looked perfectly preserved, without any signs of decay or sea growth on its surface. "How do we get in?" one of the soldiers asked. Maya stood up and moved to the airlock. "We swim." They put on their specialized diving suits, designed to withstand the crushing pressure of the deep ocean. Each suit carried enough oxygen for 3 hours and was equipped with powerful lights and communication systems. Maya was the first to exit the submarine. The water felt strange around her, almost alive somehow, as if it were watching her. She swam toward the doorway, the others following close behind. As she approached the entrance, the crystal around her neck grew warm against her chest, even through the thick diving suit. The door, a solid piece of the strange black material, began to glow with the same blue light they had seen from a distance. Without touching it, the door slid open smoothly, as if it had been waiting for them. Inside was a small chamber. When all of them had entered, the door closed behind them and the water began to drain away through hidden channels in the floor. "It still works," Dr. Martinez said in awe as they removed their helmets. "After all this time, the systems still work." "It exists partially outside normal time," Maya said, the knowledge coming to her from the crystal's memories. "That's why it hasn't aged or decayed." When all the water was gone, an inner door opened, revealing a long hallway lined with the same shifting symbols. As they walked, the symbols seemed to react to their presence, glowing brighter as they passed. "What do they say?" Maya asked Samantha. "It's a warning," the language expert replied, her voice hushed with wonder. "It says, beyond this point lies the heart of time. Those who enter risk unmaking all that is or ever will be." They continued, forward, the soldiers gripping their weapons tightly. Though they had yet to encounter any resistance, everyone felt on edge, as if the very air around them was watching and waiting. Finally, they reached a vast circular chamber. In the center, floating about 3 feet off the ground, was an object that hurt to look at directly. Sometimes it appeared as a cube, sometimes a sphere, its edges constantly shifting between dimensions. It pulsed with energy, sending out waves of blue light that rippled through the air. "The nexus point," Maya whispered. Dr. Martinez had gone, completely still, staring at the object with wide eyes. It's beautiful," she murmured. "I can see the equations, the mathematical perfection." Maya gripped the scientist's arm. "Focus, Olivia. Remember why we're here." With visible effort, Dr. Martinez tore her gaze away from the nexus point. She opened her pack and took out a device they had built together. A weapon designed to disrupt the temporal field around the nexus point and allow it to be destroyed. "It will take about 5 minutes to set up," Dr. Martinez said, moving toward the center of the room. Suddenly, the whole chamber shook violently. Dust and small pieces of the ceiling fell around them. "What was that?" one of the soldiers asked. Maya touched the crystal at her neck, closing her eyes for a moment. Through her connection with Lyra, she could see what was happening above. The Herald mothership had broken through the defensive line. The Moonblade was engaging it directly, both massive vessels firing devastating weapons at each other. "The battle has reached Earth's atmosphere," Maya told the others. "We need to hurry." As Dr. Martinez worked on the device, Maya approached the nexus point. Up close, it was even more disorienting to look at, but she forced herself to focus on it, reaching out to the crystal for guidance. Memories flooded into her mind. Memories of standing in this very spot countless times before. Sometimes she wore different bodies. Sometimes she spoke different languages, but always she was here at the end, facing the same choice. The cycle always ends the same way, came Lyra's voice in her mind. You use the Nexus to send us back in time, to warn the past, and prepare for the heralds. But the very act of using time travel creates the paradox that summons them. Maya suddenly understood. In every timeline, they discovered the Nexus point. And every time, instead of destroying it, they used it, sending warnings and memories back through time in a desperate attempt to better prepare for the next cycle. But that very action was what created the paradox in the first place, what kept bringing the Void Heralds back cycle after cycle. Then we don't use it, Maya whispered, aloud. We destroy it. What? Dr. Martinez looked up from her work. The device, Maya said urgently. Will it work? Will it truly destroy the Nexus point? Dr. Martinez hesitated. In theory, yes, but no one has ever tried before. The calculations are sound, but another violent shake rocked the chamber stronger than before. Part of the ceiling collapsed, narrowly missing 2 of the soldiers. They're getting closer, Maya said. She could feel Lyra's ship taking heavy damage. The Herald mothership was pushing the Moonblade down, forcing it toward the ocean. Dr. Martinez finished setting up the device. It's ready. But Maya, you should... No, destroying the Nexus point will have consequences. It might erase all the cycles, all the timelines. It might erase... us. Maya nodded. I know. But it's the only way to break the pattern. Through her connection with Lyra, she felt a surge of pride and something deeper. I know you, human, came Lyra's voice, filled with a mixture of sadness and hope. Across 1,000 lifetimes I have loved your courage. The chamber shook again, more violently than before. Water began to seep in through cracks in the walls. They were running out of time. Maya stood before the device, her finger hovering over the activation button. She thought of all the lives that had been lost, all the worlds that had burned because of this endless cycle. She thought of Lyra, fighting above, knowing what Maya was about to do. With a deep breath, Maya pressed the button. The device hummed to life, sending a pulse of energy toward the Nexus point. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the Nexus began to vibrate, its shifting form moving faster and faster between shapes. It's working, Dr. Martinez shouted over the increasing noise. The Nexus point glowed brighter and brighter until it was painful to look at even indirectly. The chamber began to collapse around them as reality itself seemed to scream in protest. We need to get out of here, Samantha shouted, pulling at Maya's arm. But Maya stood her ground, watching as the Nexus point began to crack, lines of white light appearing across its surface. This was it. The moment everything would change. The Nexus shattered with a sound that wasn't really a sound at all, more like the absence of all sound. A wave of energy exploded outward, passing through Maya and the others like they weren't even there. Above, the Void Herald ships froze in place, their purpose suddenly erased before dissolving into particles of light that scattered across the sky like newborn stars. The chamber was collapsing completely now. Maya and the others ran, back through the hallway as water began to pour in from all sides. They barely made it to their submarine before the entire structure imploded behind them. As they raced toward the surface, Maya reached out through her connection to Lyra, desperate to know if she had survived. For a long moment, there was nothing. Then faintly she felt it. Lyra was alive, but her ship had crashed into the ocean about 2 miles from their position. 2 months had passed since the Void Heralds first appeared near Jupiter. 2 months of desperate battles across the solar system. Earth's secret fleet, hidden for decades on Phobos, fought alongside Lyra's Astari ships against the relentless Heralds. The war had gone public after the first week when Herald ships had appeared in Earth's sky, visible to millions. Panic had given way to a grim determination as humanity realized they were fighting for their very existence. Maya stood on the bridge of the Defender, one of Earth's most advanced warships. Through the view screen, she watched as 3 Astari, Vessels engaged a Herald destroyer near Mars. The battle was beautiful and terrible at the same time, like a deadly dance among the stars. "Lieutenant Winters, you have a call from the Moonblade," said the communications officer. Maya nodded. "Send it to my quarters." In her small room aboard the Defender, Maya sat before a screen. When it lit up, Lyra's face appeared. The alien queen looked tired, with small lines around her eyes that hadn't been there before. "Maya," Lyra said with a small smile, "how are your people holding up?" "We've lost 12 ships and 2 outposts on Mars," Maya replied. "But we're still fighting." "As are we," Lyra said. "The Heralds have grown stronger since the last cycle. They're adapting faster than before." Over the past 2 months, Maya had learned much from Lyra. The Astari Queen had explained how their civilizations had been caught in a cosmic cycle of war and rebirth for millennia. The Void Heralds would rise, worlds would burn, and eventually, the survivors would rebuild until it happened again. "I've been studying the data from Dr. Martinez," Maya said. "She thinks she's found something in the crystal you gave me." Lyra leaned forward, suddenly alert. "What has she found?" "The crystal contains memories. Not just information, but actual memories from past versions of me, of us." Maya still found it hard to accept this truth, though the evidence was becoming harder to deny. "Yes," Lyra said softly. "In each cycle, the memories are stored, hidden, away for the next time. It's how we've slowly gained ground against the Heralds. Each time we remember a little more, prepare a little better." Maya touched the crystal that now hung around her neck on a chain. It had become a part of her, feeding her dreams with visions of battles fought long ago and worlds she had never seen. "There's more," Maya said. "Dr. Martinez and the Astari scientists have been working together. They think they know what the Void Heralds actually are." Lyra's expression grew grave. "Tell me." "They're not just aliens," Maya explained. "They're more like antibodies, the universe's immune system trying to fix something that went wrong." "Wrong?" Lyra asked. "A paradox," Maya said. "Somewhere in the distant past, someone altered the natural flow of time, created a mistake that the universe is trying to correct. The Heralds are the result, entities that exist to find and eliminate the source of the paradox." "And that source is?" Lyra asked, though from her expression, Maya sensed she already knew the answer. "Us," Maya said simply. "You and me. In some past life, we did something that broke the rules of time and space, and the universe has been trying to fix it ever since." Lyra was quiet for a long moment. "There's an ancient story among my people," she finally said, "about 2 beings who loved each other so much they defied death itself. One was Astari, one was something else. They used forbidden technology to stay together across lifetimes. The story says they angered the gods who sent demons to punish them." "Not gods," Maya said. "Physics and not demons. Just the natural laws of the universe trying to heal itself." The ship shuddered around them as the Defender engaged its engines, moving to a new position in the battle. "If we're the cause of all this," Maya continued, "then maybe we're also the solution. The crystal has been showing me something. A place on Earth, deep beneath the ocean." "The nexus point," Lyra whispered, her eyes wide. "You know it?" Maya asked. "Only in legend," Lyra replied. "The first time manipulation device ever created. It was lost eons ago, when the first cycle began." "It's not lost," Maya said. "It's hidden. In the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of Earth's oceans." Lyra stood up suddenly. "We need to find it now, before the Heralds realize where it is." "How would they know?" Maya asked. "Because they always know, eventually," Lyra said grimly. "It's what they're designed to do, find the source of the paradox and eliminate it. That's why they attack different worlds in each cycle. They're searching, always searching." The screen suddenly flickered as alarms blared in the background on Lyra's ship. "What's happening?" Maya asked, standing up as well. "Herald ships," Lyra said, looking at something off-screen. A new wave, bigger than before. They're heading directly for Earth. Her eyes met Maya's through the screen. They know. The connection cut off. Maya rushed back to the bridge of the Defender. "Captain," she called out. "We need to get to Earth. Now." Captain Grace Lynn looked up from the tactical display. "We're in the middle of a battle, Lieutenant. We can't just leave." "There's going to be an attack on Earth," Maya said urgently. "A big one. The Heralds know about the Nexus Point." The captain's face hardened. "How do you know this?" Maya hesitated. Despite working together for 2 months, many in Earth's military still didn't fully trust Lyra or the Astari. They saw them as convenient allies against the Heralds, but nothing more. "I just received intelligence from Queen Lyra," Maya said carefully. "And I've been having visions from the crystal." Captain Lynn studied Maya's face. "These visions have been right before." It was true. Maya's strange knowledge had helped Earth forces win several key battles. Her ability to predict Herald tactics had saved countless lives. "Very well," the captain decided. "Set course for Earth, maximum speed, and alert Earth Defense Command." As the Defender turned and accelerated toward Earth, Maya returned to her quarters. She took out the crystal and held it tightly in her hand, closing her eyes. "Show me," she whispered. "Show me what to do." The crystal grew warm, then hot. Images flooded her mind. A dark place deep under the ocean. A strange object that hurt to look at directly, shifting between shapes as if it couldn't decide what it wanted to be, and a weapon designed to destroy it. Maya gasped as the vision ended. She knew what had to be done. The Nexus Point needed to be destroyed, but according to the memories in the crystal, every time they tried to destroy it in past cycles, they failed. Something always went wrong. The pattern always continued. "Not this time," Maya said to herself. "This time we break the cycle." She began to draw up plans. They would need a special team. Dr. Martinez to understand the physics of the Nexus Point, Samantha Kelly to interpret any ancient writings they might find, and soldiers, the best Earth had, to fight off the Heralds when they came. Because they would come. Maya looked out her window at the stars streaking by as the Defender raced toward Earth. Somewhere out there, Lyra was doing the same, bringing the Moonblade and her best warriors for the battle to come. In her mind, Maya could feel the weight of countless lives lived before. Countless battles fought. Countless times she and Lyra had stood together, trying to end the cycle. And always failing. "Not this time," she repeated, clutching the crystal tightly. "This time we end it for good." As if in response, the crystal pulsed once, sending a wave of warmth up her arm, and for a brief moment Maya thought she could hear Lyra's voice in her mind, soft but determined. "Together as always, my friend. Until the end." Maya smiled, despite the danger ahead. Yes, together. Whatever bond connected her and Lyra across time and space, it would give them strength for what was to come. The final battle was approaching, and this time they would not fail. Lieutenant Maya Winters checked her ship's control panel for the 3rd time that hour. The small space vessel called Stargazer hummed quietly around her as it moved through the darkness of space near Neptune. Her job today was simple: fly around and collect data about strange gravity changes in this area. Nothing exciting ever happened on these missions. Just another day of space patrol. The ship's computer beeped softly, showing all systems working fine. Maya stretched in her seat and looked out at the stars. She had joined the Earth Space Force 5 years ago, hoping for adventure among the stars. So far, she had found mostly routine work and endless reports to fill out. Another boring day, she said to herself, taking a sip of her coffee. Then everything changed. The control panel lit up with warning lights. Every alarm on the ship started to scream at once. Maya put down her cup so fast that coffee spilled across her uniform. "What the—" She didn't finish her sentence because what she saw through the front window made her words stop in her throat. A massive ship had appeared out of nowhere. One moment there was empty space, and the next, This giant vessel hung in the blackness like it had always been there. It was huge, at least 50 times bigger than her small patrol ship. Its surface glowed with a strange blue light that shifted and moved like water. Maya had studied every type of ship humans had ever built, and this looked nothing like any of them. Her training kicked in despite her fear. She reached for the communication system and began to send the standard first contact message. "This is Lieutenant Maya Winters of the Earth Space Force vessel Stargazer. We come in peace and wish to establish friendly." Every light on her ship went out. The engines stopped. Even the backup systems failed. Maya sat in complete darkness and silence, her heart beating so loud she could hear it in her ears. A strange feeling came over her then. It felt like gentle fingers were touching her mind, softly looking through her thoughts and memories. She tried to fight against it, but it was like trying to hold smoke in her hands. Then, a voice spoke directly inside her head. "At last, we meet again." Maya gripped the arms of her chair. The voice was female, soft but powerful, and somehow felt both strange and familiar at the same time. Outside her window, the giant ship began to change shape. Part of it opened like a flower blooming, and a smaller craft emerged. This new ship moved toward the Stargazer with smooth, graceful movements. As it came closer, Maya could see a figure through the clear front of the alien craft. The being looked almost human in shape, but taller and more elegant. Its skin seemed to glow and shift colors like the northern lights Maya had once seen in Alaska. Despite the differences, the figure was clearly female in form. The most unsettling thing was the alien's face. It wore an expression that Maya recognized instantly. Her recognition. The alien was looking at Maya like someone who spots an old friend in a crowd. Without Maya touching any controls, the airlock door of her ship hissed open. She should have been terrified. Her training said to seal off the ship if an unknown entity tried to enter. But something deeper than training kept her rooted to the spot as she waited. The alien queen, for she moved with the confidence and power of a ruler, stepped into Maya's ship. She was nearly 7 feet tall with a slender body that moved with impossible grace. Her face was beautiful but strange, with features that were almost human but not quite. Her eyes were the most alien part, deep and full of swirling colors, like looking into tiny galaxies. The queen approached Maya with slow steps. Maya stood up from her chair, surprised to find her legs steady despite her fear. The alien woman raised one hand toward Maya's face. Maya noticed she had 6 fingers, instead of 5. The hand stopped just short of touching her cheek. Then the queen's mouth moved and perfect English came out, though her lips didn't quite match the words. "I know you, human," the queen said with a smile that seemed to hold secrets as old as the stars. "I have known you across 1,000 lifetimes." Maya's mind raced with questions. How did this alien speak English? Why did she act like they had met before? And why did Maya feel, deep in her bones, that this was not a first meeting, but a reunion? "Who are you?" Maya finally managed to ask, her voice steadier than she expected. "I am Lyra," the queen said. "The last time we met you called me by another name. The time before that, another still. But always, you stand at the crossroads of fate with me." "I don't understand," Maya said. "I've never met you before." Lyra's smile grew sad. "You don't remember yet. But you will. The memories will return as they always do." She reached into a fold of her shimmering clothing and pulled out a small crystal. It caught the light and broke it into 1,000 colors. "Take this," Lyra said, placing the crystal in Maya's hand. "When the Void Heralds come, you will need what this contains." "Void Heralds?" Maya asked, looking at the crystal. It felt warm in her palm, almost like it had a heartbeat. "They are coming sooner than last time," Lyra said, her voice urgent now. "The pattern is accelerating. I had hoped for more time to prepare you, to help you remember, but they have already begun their approach." "Prepare me for what? What pattern? What is going on?" Maya's questions tumbled out in confusion. Lyra stepped back toward the airlock. "War is coming, Maya Winters. A war that has been fought countless times across countless worlds. And as always, You and I stand at its center. Wait, Maya called out. Don't leave. You have to explain. I must prepare my people, Lyra said. Keep the crystal close. When you need me most, it will guide you to me. With those words, the alien queen stepped back through the airlock. It sealed behind her, and Maya rushed to the window to watch the smaller craft return to the mothership. As soon as it docked, the massive alien vessel began to shimmer. It seemed to fold in on itself, bending space in ways that hurt Maya's eyes to watch. Then it was gone, leaving no trace it had ever been there. The lights and systems of the stargazer came back to life all at once. Every screen showed normal readings, as if nothing unusual had happened. Maya might have thought she had imagined the whole thing if not for the crystal still clutched in her hand and the lingering scent of something like lavender and ozone in the air of her ship. Maya looked at the crystal once more, then carefully placed it in her pocket. She set course for Earth knowing that her life had just changed forever. Whatever this alien queen wanted, whatever war was coming, Maya knew she would soon be in the middle of it. And somehow, deep inside, a part of her she didn't recognize whispered that this was always how it began.